Hello, Friday night. It's a party, guys. This is what we do. Welcome to 40. I hope you guys are having a good start to your weekend. Tonight, we're going to be working on a project that showed up. Now, I have done no prep whatsoever. If you are watching this in the future, this is in the past. And if you're thinking this is going to be very techy and full of build information and valuable advice, this is probably not the video for it. And hopefully I have one on it later for that reason. But if you're just looking for background noise while doing something actually entertaining or productive, then hopefully this is for you. So anyway, the chassis that we have here in front of me, if you didn't see in the thumbnail, is made by a company called Tie Pro Customs. This chassis costs $850. It's not a cheap chassis, but we're going to see how it builds. So I did buy this. I paid money for it, actual money, in the full amount. So there you go. Just so you know. The current wait time on these is 3 weeks. But what you get is you get the chassis, as you see here. It's got a hood panel on there, which is resin 3D printed. And it's got some lines, but it is nice that, you know, you get something that makes it a little bit more finished looking. And I think for most people, that will be a bonus. It's got a large fuel cell in the back there. I would say too large in my opinion. I'm not a super fan of the size of that, but it also has a nice full detailed interior. Again, also SLA printed, resin printed detail. So the detail is good. Now you see that the side over here has got a it's like a full shelf area with some details on it. And I think that's for a battery, a battery to sit in there. You can actually see into the fender wells there. And you can see that tab there. That's for the shift servo mount for the overdrive. And on this side, there's one also for a dig servo mount, because this is ready for a Vanquish VFD twin, which just so happens to be what we're going to put in it. It does come with a passenger seat in case you have other ideas for your interior. The seats are an interesting look. They're a low back seat, which I'm totally on board with. And they're probably pretty accurate. I don't know. I don't know if I love the seats or not. But again, having a very complete setup is nice. Very rarely do you see something that is done that way. So we're going to see how far we can get on this tonight. It does come with a link set that I'm told is made to work with F10 axles. I've got some questions on it. I have not done any prep work on looking at what it's going to take to get this together. I've got a Phoenix kit as a donor, which just so happens to be back in stock. So we're going to use a Vanquish Phoenix kit version as our base. I got some upgrades for the transmission for that, including the machined transfer case gears, since this is going to be a little heavier. I got a metal motor plate, metal transmission bearing plates, and did I say the motor plate? Got a lightweight motor plate. Other than that, we're going to build the axles from stock. We're going to build the transmission with those parts, and we're going to build the shocks, throw those things up underneath, and go from there. I will do my best to read comments as I go, and I will ramble my own ramblings while I can't look up. I have prepared myself with bubblies, and yeah, anyway. So we're not going to talk about this thing very much for a little while, because I got to build axles, I got to build transmission, and then we're going to try and bolt it underneath of that. What I don't know is how you're supposed to get a servo in this thing, and because it's got panhard mounts here, I think, and I see some tabs up in the chassis there, but I don't know beyond that. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. Someone will say I will miss it, and then people will have to replace or re-say it 100 times, but that's donor kit. And soon to follow, this will be customer service parts, because I only need a certain portion of it. And we're going to start with bag A. Resembles a Ripper a little. I mean, I wouldn't say so at all. I don't think it's a similar style in the least. I mean, the fact that it has a Jeep-esque hood, maybe, but beyond that, I mean, if you mean by a buggy, sure, but if you look at buggies and the difference between buggies and how they're built, I think it's so vastly different in that world that it doesn't get there at all for me on that. So anyway, Emerson Knife, yes. That is what I carry now. I was actually gifted this by a friend, and it's been my most favorite knife ever. It's bigger than I would normally carry, but I've got so used to it now that I'm just like, I don't know that I could ever own anything different. I love the wave feature on it. It's just been my favorite thing. I've got so used to it, good with it. So I didn't grab any other parts for the axles. We're building those up stock for now. I also didn't grab wheels and tires, but Josh, did you build that knife? Will never get old. Never, ever. President, legend, doctor, gentleman, buck dandy. Hit the like button and let's get this week's topic. Let's get into this week's topics. Do a gender reveal. Will the Ripper hood fit? No, it's nothing like a Ripper. Like, it's not even close. Size-wise, design, I don't feel like it's anywhere I don't see a parallel to it. I guess if you're not looking at buggies very often or very closely, like maybe I feel like most people should be able to so quickly, like, not even. Josh changes his knife more than his X-Acto blades. Not wrong. Okay, there's that here. The fun part of building axles. Yay. They're all derivatives of the Proline tube chassis. Right. Oh my God. That thing was pretty interesting. I built a tube chassis around that design, actually. Or not that design, their panels specifically. And I had a wrap put on it that was themed after a gentleman's club. It said Broken Dreams Gentlemen's Club. It was a long time ago. Funny enough, I built it with a AX10 rear axle and a Flash 4x4 front end. And Axial bought that from me. And then the Yeti came out not too long after. Coincidence? I think not. So, yeah. All right. You know what I'm not doing right now is I'm not Loctiting these screws. It'll be fine. In reality, will I have this axle back apart? I'm sure. In reality, at that time, will I take these screws back out and put thread lock on? Likely not. So, does it really matter? Wait. Aardvark explain. Positive comments are wrong. You're terrible. Hate from California. Just drizzling it over the top. Yeah, I was watching the Cletus build of the tow truck recently. I saw them doing that, and I was just like, "Oh God, oh God!" it was so painful to see. Is there a difference between F9 and F10 portals? Huge differences. Yes. Axle shaft design, steering, clearance. Yeah, I mean they're different axles entirely. They use the same gear set, but that's beyond that. That's it. Will I put aluminum axles on this sometime? Yeah, probably, maybe. Yes, definitely. You know what? You know what it'll really depend on? It will depend on how I feel this chassis goes together. If I feel like this truck feels well sorted, then there's a high likelihood of me going through and doing all those. You need to go back and read Dogan's comment. Oh, that's going to be super hard. Like I'm going to be sitting here scrolling all night if I keep trying to do that. I'll get to it. I'm sure whatever it is, we'll get to. But if I'm going to make progress on this, I've got to keep chugging along. We are greasing. We are checking. And yes, I saw someone comment on the new giveaway truck in the Cletus channel. It looks so good. Where's Nicole when we need her? I know. Kansas City. That's why we're here, though, because she's not here. What else am I? It was either this or I was going to go to the bars. I'm obviously not going. Logan said the servo mount is in the bag with stickers. Well, cool. Like I said, I haven't gone through. I thought I was kind of looking. So there's the stickers. Those appear to be like shift levers. So I got the links, and rod ends. I have no servo mount. So if there was supposed to be one, I ain't got it. So I guess I just need to send an email, which is fine. Links feel nice though. Got measurements on them and all that. And yeah, I can't imagine that the link that mount is stuck anywhere or anything. But we'll figure it out. It could be worse. I guess we're not going to get a servo in this tonight though. So, oh well. Not the end of the world. He's pretty easy to get a hold of, the guy who axle mounted is. Well, since it's using a VFD twin transmission, you can't do axle mount because there isn't clearance for that front upper link. Flat plate steel cut out of the servo to bolt into the nose of the chassis. That makes total sense. I see the mount where it would go. But yeah, I don't have anything that resembles a servo mount in those bags. So that's okay. We'll get her knocked out then. Like I was saying, he doesn't have a website. There's a Facebook group and he has a Facebook page. You just have to message him and he's responsive. So I don't have any concerns with needing to get what I need. Needing to get or getting what I need. However, I was supposed to say that. I wonder how many sets of F10 axles you guys have had the opportunity to watch me sit here and build over all these years. Yep. Built a lot of them, I'll tell you that. I've built enough that I definitely am not using instructions very often. Go there. Cover portal cap. Black Sheep RC, thank you very much, Jimmer. Does F10 portal BAS mount work on the straights? Yes. Yes, it does. Works just fine. Why does it take you so long then? Because I keep reading your comment. Freaking Dan. You could have built these while you were jacking around at work today. Playing with your toy truck. Okay. Yeah, pin fell out. Yeah. There we go. See, we're just cranking. You didn't ask. That's true. I knew you needed to get home for your nap. All right. Knuckle done. Oh, we did not grease that gear. So I'm just going to put a little dab in on top, which will do just fine. Just yeah. Scotto Blander, thank you very much. Shoot. There we go. Sorry. I'm sure someone's already asked how much for that cage. Finish my VOD carbon tonight. Went together very well. It is $850 for the package. And that's the cage, the panels, and the titanium links. So yeah, it's not cheap, but it does feel like a decently made cage. I'm going to be interested because I had bought the RC Speedy years back now, and I tell you what, it seemed like a nice cage too until I built it, and I was just like, this is garbage. Like, I cannot tell you. Hard. Thank you. So yeah. Anyway, I bought that RC Speedy and was so absolutely thoroughly disappointed in almost every part of that experience. From the actual build and how things were designed to go together to later discovering the strength of the welds of shock tabs to just then, reaching out to discover like whether or not the issue I was having was something that was either something he was aware of or interested in making work. you know, things like that. But the back and forth on the customer service side, they did revise the RC Speedy. They moved the shock mounts. Yeah, and they're super weak and they break off constantly. Like, I could not recommend them less. If you have somebody who can re-weld them, then I just so disappointed. I sold it locally to the guy. He's in here off Eric. I was just like, okay, I didn't build. Here's why. I didn't. I was going to. Let's see. I was wondering what Josh did this time that Nicole's KC. She is in KC spending time with our nephew for his spring break. And our nephew and our niece, our new niece. I mean, she's very little, so she's not as active, but still getting to spend some time with her. Our niece was born around Thanksgiving. Right. Front axle is, uh-oh, I think I knocked a set screw off somewhere. Dang it. What's the chances of me finding it? Probably low, because I'm sure I just knocked it down in or off or something. Yeah, we're not going to find that. That's not going to happen. Do I have a set screw handy? No. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. That's going to be super goddamn annoying, though, isn't it? Look in your trash can. I'm sure there's an old screw. I use a big trash can. I'd be waist deep in that thing looking for a. Let's see if we can hunt something down real quick, though. Set screws like that do seem to be pretty rare as far as extras floating around, though. Let's do a quick check. Excellent. Found one. In this hex, obviously I do not need. That one is unimportant. There we go. Fixed. All right. So front axle's done. Oh, wait. I already took the axle out. Rear axle. He's got a 164 scale toolbox, but no magnetic parts drawer. Bolt. I mean, I actually, right here, I have one. Doesn't mean I'm going to use it. right. Another spool and ring gear project ahead. I bet someone didn't come with Silver. Okay. There, Phoenix. I'm pretty sure the servo mount is in the bag with the axles. Well, the axles I bought, so I don't think that they would be in there. Oh, the bearing is not a pry bar. First impressions, how does the chassis compare to a UC Fab ones? It's not that level for sure. I mean, if I think that the benefit of this, or the pros of this over like the UC Fab is that it does have the finished panels. It's got a super nice interior and, a nicely done cage, the fuel cell, if you like that. So that's a benefit. The, beyond that, there's certain things that it's just like, yeah, they're making this so that they can make it easier, not necessarily to make it the best that they could. Doesn't make it a bad chassis. It just makes it a different type of chassis. It's still in that same price range though, but you're paying the extra for all those other things like the body panels and a titanium link set and that type of thing, rather than just paying for the workmanship of a chassis. So, and they're charging a premium because it's titanium rather than steel, where I like titanium. It's like a cool factor. I don't know if I like it for the cool factor. I don't know that I really care about it in my chassis for any other reason, not for strength and stuff like that. Like it's purely because it's cool. So, you mentioned you're designing stuff. Plan on offering it for sale to print. I guess I could for this if I assume that these are made with jigs because they've got 3D printed parts that are, um, 3D printed to fit in there. So they're obviously counting on them being the same from one to the next. So therefore, things that I print, I could probably count on fitting in them. It's just I haven't done that in the past. So I guess if it's something that turns out, then yeah. So if Josh was put on the no titanium list, well, I mean, if I just go to DOM steel tubing, I'd be fine. Honestly, it would save me a lot of headache. Titanium is it's actually a pain in the ass to work with. If this was a steel cage, if I wanted to just do a quick mod or anything like that, sure, I could. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. Now, since it's titanium, if I want to weld anything on there, I need to figure out if it's grade 2 or grade 5. Then make sure I have that grade material to add to it. So adds an extra layer of complexity. Where steel, that. So vengeful one, thank you very much. Thanks for the MT12 rear steer knob, STL. No problem. Hope it's helpful for you. Much appreciated. So I ordered a second plane over 1 meter. It's becoming a thing. Logan, I fully support your dive into the flight world. The want is real with me as well. The only thing is, and I know I don't have any goddamn time. Like, how slammed I am with work right now than all of my own projects, as much traveling as I want to do this year. I have a wife that is also would like a couple of days of the year, as you know, and I forgot to give her any of those last year, so I probably owe her some this year. Logan, I actually saw your post the other day with the timbers on top of each other, one big, one small. I've got a small hangar of RC planes I don't fly. Let's trade something. Frank, that's the thing is the plane. It's just like, oh, they don't really cost that much. I could do this. I could do that. It's the other side of me that's like, what are you going to do? When are you going to use that? Why would you buy that? When it's an RC car, I can totally talk myself into be like, oh, I'll just use it when I use the other ones. Like, no big deal. I know. I just need to make some decisions. Come. Super Greg, thank you very much. Josh, can I use TX4 axles under an SCX10 tube chassis? Oh, let's see. Yes, I would say that you could, but it's going to be difficult because of the location of the panhard mount on the TRX4 axles and the height and all that. It's possible. I did it underneath of a VS410 chassis, which is why I say I think that it is. But the VS410 chassis has a lot more rise to it. So it makes it easier to clear all of those things. I think to do it with a TRX4, you're going to end up with a really tall ride height to make things work. And that would be my biggest concern because I think that really tall ride heights look really bad. So yeah. Once you have an air transmitter, it's all over. Oh, I know. And I do have air transmitters actually from my FPV drone, which I obviously use all the time. But I'd probably just get a Spectrum transmitter so that I could easily, like, just pop from one to the other, get RTFs and bind them up and go. Hello, Double Soul Shaman. You guys are crazy people. Draco has been bad juju. Yeah. That plane was so cool that it really makes me want to own the mini one. And probably the real mini one. Not the like mini original, but like the mini. I just feel like anything that makes me a little less sad when I inevitably pile drive it into the earth, probably a good idea. Gunner, my meat belongs in your mouth. And thank you very much. Hi, all. Tonight's code. Oh, I gotta scroll down. Sorry. Tonight's code is bring back STL Sundays. I'm ready now. I've got planes. Let's crash them. Draco and Turbo Timber Evo. I want to do that. Gunner, shouldn't we both have some supervision? Because I feel like us just going out with a couple of planes is just lighting money on fire. And if we're going to do that, there's a club I'd rather go to. Yeah. But Thank you. Dana, thank you very much. The link is pinned above. You can go to satisfiedjerky.com. Save yourself 10% with that code hashtag bring back STL Sundays. Get the oh, that's hot. It's not as hot as it sounds. It's actually got a little bit of sweetness as well. So good. So good. Shit, I forgot to put the other side on before I did the little spinny move. Oh, good. You couldn't see it because I had the super chat up. Velocity addiction, thank you very much. Fly on a buddy box with a local instructor. See if you even like flying. It's a whole different animal. So I really like flying FPV drones. I thought that was a lot of fun, but I enjoyed most just like soaring around rather than why is it every time I come in here you're talking about planes? She knows. Absolutely no planes. Absolutely no planes means less than 10. Like that's like a super small number of planes. Did we put any grease on the other side? We did, right? You guys saw me put grease on the other axle, right? Pretty sure I did. Let's see. Will a F10 drop into a VS410 Ultra? Yes. Direct drop in. Direct. All the grease. Good. That's what I wanted to hear. No plan for you. You need a sim rig before play. You know what? That's a great point, Racing Case. I've actually been researching building a sim for a very specific reason. I feel like, and actually, funny enough, I've been researching it with more of like this style seat rather than the tall racing seat style. And that is because if I do that, it will store perfectly underneath of that shelf, like almost perfectly. Scary perfect. And that wall with the angle monitor mount onto that, like it's almost like it wouldn't take up any more space in this entire room. I've got it all set up in CAD. Been looking at the extruded aluminum setups so that I could just build my own. It's I mean, it's like finding free square footage in your home. I real you, you know what's even cheaper at Avoid? I don't think so. But seriously, it's like I found room in our home, just increasing the value every day. Nicole's so lucky to have me. Cheaper to keep her. Yeah, exactly. Listen, she's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. She doesn't get to leave. I've decided that she is stuck with me forever and ever. I custom built my rig, but it's not that small. Oh, I think I remember seeing yours. And yes, I fully agree. I absolutely, but this room is where it would need to live. I've determined that. BT is back. Big wave. BT. Always great to have you. Hope things are well on the east side of the country. There we go. All right, axles are done. Why do I have an extra screw? I'm pretty sure. Yep, there it is. I just didn't put it in. Like I shouldn't have an extra one. There we go.
Gunner, my meat belongs in your mouth. Listen, Nicole, it's time for you to go before your head explodes. Yeah, things won't get easier at this point. Glad that she jumped in now, though, rather than before. I think that was a good move. Time for the D bag. That ain't it. That's the C bag. There we go. I missed a super chat. Jeremiah, thank you. There it was. I messaged Time Pro. It's grade 5 titanium. Looking forward to see how the WPL will last with my kids, age 5 and 7. Oh, what trans you run? I do hope that. Yeah. It's true, but you test me every day. But you have all of the perks at the same time, so I feel like you get the steal works out. And did I miss another one, or did I just miss Jeremiah's? Yes, I got them all now. Yeah. Smoking deal you got on the chassis, $50 is a deal. It's just not supposed to put the end part. I saw the comments. You were so close. I didn't read your whole comment before I decided to put it. Okay. There you go. Hi, Nicole from Jasmine. Hello, Jasmine. Nice to see you. I always assume you are there with Brandon. So. Is the SCX10 Pro worth turning into a belly dragger? I mean, that's kind of what it's supposed to be out of the box. So, I guess it depends on, you should think about what that means to you as far as changing things and how far you plan on going, whether or not it just makes more sense to buy or build custom from scratch. So fun thing is if you hit the back button, it just takes you all the way out of the stream. And then got it. His fist hit those hands in the ship from that. Dude, you there? You there, dude? Nicole said no more streams for you. She figured out how to log in from afar and okay. We are building this with the VFD twin transmission. This chassis here is set up to run that with micro servos specifically. So I do not have the micro servos. You know what I didn't grab is fucking drive shafts. I'm gonna have to check my bins because if the transmission is buried, which I'm not sure how buried it gets in here, I'm really not going to want to take that apart. Are you going to bring the JT to Trail Hero this year? Come spectate some events? I would like to make it out to Trail Hero, yes. So as long as it doesn't conflict with something like it did last year, what are the dates this year? Isn't there 2 of them, Logan? Okay. Now, I have built my fair share of VFD twins, but it has been way less than the number of standard VFDs I've built. So let's hope I can do this without instructions. I need those 2 shorty screws. So it's the SEMA build tonight. If the transmission is going in, it's going in with drive shafts, regardless. But I really hope that I have some metal ones here. Can any of your crawlers handle you standing on them? I mean, yeah. The Ripper could. My Woods Runner can. I wouldn't want to stand on the Porsche because there's technically a 3D printed spacer between the metal cage and the metal sliders. So I wouldn't want to do that. The UC Fab one could. I have a few. I have 2 UC Fab cars. So those both could. Let's test that. No, I don't want to. For one, it hurt your feet standing on it. Okay. So there's those. Let's start getting this together. Why doesn't anyone make the little 21-2 servo saver piece so you don't study the bind? I would say because everyone else just puts all new servo in it and doesn't deal with the Spectrum stuff at all. I think Reefs actually came out with their own version of that so you didn't have to screw with that little piece at all, because it is an absolute pain in the ass. I agree. I've got what I do with the 2.0 or 2.5, I mean. I put my 1.5 in there the other day and I just set the 2.5 somewhere. And that was obviously a poor decision. I'm an idiot. Why do I do this? Oh, no. Tap. That's annoying. Oh, there it is. Way over there. There we go. Crawler Baller. When you guys release these RTRs, who assembles them? So like an RTR. So if it's an RTR, it's going to be completely done overseas. Like you can't do an RTR here. So that's why like our higher end RTR or our higher end kits, like a VS410 Pro or Ultra, those were not RTRs because we have to add all kinds of parts that we make here in California. And that just wouldn't be possible with an RTR without taking and sending parts to the factory. Oh, I got the power turned all the way down on that one too. I don't remember what I was doing, but all right. Might as well run the shrouds on this one since this is a scale build. Putting a lightweight motor plate on, but we'll still put the scale shrouds on. Why would anyone stand on their crawler barefoot? Because I don't have shoes on now. I'm not going to get my shoes on to stand on my car. Hey, Josh, I uploaded a video on my Traxxas Slash and 1 year ago to now, and I got 10,000 views. My recent videos have a low amount of views. How can I improve my count and get more subscribers? You got to get consistency is a big thing. Making videos on areas with high interest. you know, like, yeah, you know, new releases obviously are going to be the most popular thing. So if you buy new cars and cover them, that will give you your best chance in building from there. Or how-to videos on things that don't have how-to videos that need them. That's a good area. Things like that. If you're doing videos that there's already a lot of other similar videos, unless it's a super popular area, it's going to be real hard. You got to offer something different or better or special. That's the thing. Can I stand on a Vanquish Pro, or would that smash the body? That would smash the body. That's why I would not say my Pro. But like my Woods Runner, the cage is welded to the chassis, so I could stand on that one. I wouldn't have too much. Top 5 list without using the products. Yeah, exactly. Just steal video off the internet and rank them. And when you've even if you've never owned them or have any real world experience, top 10 reasons you need this. And it's just, there's lots of those channels. There's a lot of the big channels do that, and they just do it because it's absolute money and number stuff. And that a lot of them, you know, that is their point. They're there for the money. What's up, Bubs? Come here. You good? All right. I've got 3 releases planned: a new element rig, a new plane, and a new Traxxas boat. Yeah, as long as they're new truck. Like if it comes out, you know, and you get it the week or the month that a new release comes out, then you buy it right away at the hobby shop and you make a video of it ASAP. That is the best way to get that kind of traction. All right. Oh, I need to find my little spacer. Or do I? It's usually in here. Okay. Spacer. And then we got our top shaft plate. Spur gear. We got to put our sticky on. How many takes do you typically have to do for a product on SNU before you keep it? It depends. I mean, if I screw something up and, you know, like if I'm mid-sentence, I'll start over that sentence, but I don't necessarily do the whole product thing over, just like whatever part. A lot of times it's just the first time. But yeah, it usually takes me between 20 and 30 minutes to film the scale news. So, and that show is usually, you know, 12 to 16 minutes long. So if that gives you any idea, it's definitely the other way. No, it is definitely the other way. Right? Come on. There we go. It really has been a while since I built a VFD twin. Best way to get views is use RC cards as part of a different channel. That is absolutely a great way to put it. Yeah. Like, if you want to make money on YouTube, what you should do is definitely not do RC cars. Full-size cars, much better idea. Also, much more expensive to get into. A very busy market to try and break into. So yeah, YouTube's a tough business. That's an 8. Why is my blue tape gone? Let's see. Yeah. Do you guys do market share charts? I mean, I look at my analytics a lot, like way too much. I'm pretty sure I've got this wrong. I'm pretty positive. I should really just finish putting this together and then am I really gonna I really have to go to the instruction manual to make sure I'm doing this right. It looks at his analytics, but not his instructions. I'm doing it right now to make sure. Oh, this feels wrong. I shouldn't have to do this. I feel like I'll be mocked now. No, I had it right. Okay. Well, I'd never have doubted myself. I'm always right. I know that. Or is that what I did wrong? That's what I did wrong. I used the spacer from the regular VFD when I don't need it on the VFD twin. That's get in the hole. Stupid bearing. There we go. It was so right that it felt wrong. Yeah, well, it's just this little spacer. Use that little spacer on the top shaft behind the slipper eliminator on the standard VFD. And I put that on here just because I've built so many freaking VFDs. And I forgot that you don't need it on this because it's built into the backside disc. Did the instructions say to lick the gas? If you ever get, next time you get a Vanquish RTR, go into the beginning part of the instructions and you may notice that it specifically says not to lick the truck. I wrote that warning. You're welcome. Someone go find their VFD instruction book, or their VFD, a RTR instruction manual, and you'll go find it. Go do it now. I can't believe you own an instruction manual, let alone have one of them. Well, I'm building this transmission out of a kit. Do the Red Cat mini axles fit under a TT02? I would have no idea. And that sounds like a terrible idea in the first place. I will not entertain your silly question. But seriously, that is a ridiculous question. Let's see. You should go do some of the crawls held in Oroville or in Paradise. Some great fun crawling. Good people. I've crawled up in Oroville, like up by the hatchery before. But generally, I don't generally make the trek up there just because like the events are generally smaller. I know a lot of the Butte County guys, and I've made it to a number of the larger events up there. But like the smaller local ones, I don't, just because it's, it's a long way up for smaller events. So, and then we've got the bottom gear. Let's see. Low. I just don't enjoy the little ones like the 1/10 that shows in the videos, and they won't be as good. Yeah, I know what you mean, Logan. I definitely don't like the little ones as much as the larger ones either, but I'm a sucker for competition, and if I can squeeze in more comps, I'm going to. I definitely don't think that the little ones are nearly as much fun as the 10 scales. Like, just don't even compare. They're cheap, which is nice, or they can be cheap, or you can spend $1,000. I've got another revision, a major update coming to my current one that I have to wait on some parts to be made for. Parts that, we could make in our shop, but it's not really like that type of thing. So I'm going to have them produced in another fashion. And I think that's going to be great. But again, just for competition. Did I put that top bearing in? I never did it. I forget it every time. I did put it in. I always forget that bearing when I build VFDs. Like all the freaking time. And it's super annoying. Then when I don't, I still take it apart to check. And when I do forget it, I forget to take it apart and check. And then I have one bearing left over at the end, and I take it all back apart. Why did I put a shaft bearing on that already? Seems like an odd move, but weird flex, but okay. Oh, I did also grab metal bearing plates. That's a good one. We've got another 24 scale comp next weekend. Time to make sure everything's ready to go. Yep, we got another one. And our season final is next weekend, actually. And I was probably sitting okay until this last week when I fell off and I bent that link. Yeah. That was a bummer because that would have really wrecked my points. Would you say the price of the cage is worth the premium you pay over an RC Speedy? I mean, I've talked in here a little bit already that I absolutely do not recommend the Speedies. I don't like them. I don't like the quality. The design I feel like is lacking. Like, I didn't have a single good area of experience with one of those chassis. So yes, I do think that it's worth it. So far, in the end, it has to still get built and get, everything has to clear and work and cycle and fit properly. But I have to assume that it will, because that's a minimum assumption of what you should still assume a cage will do. And the Speedy didn't do hardly any of that. And it was just so odd. It was so bad. Just absolutely hated looking at it. And now he's got those big goofy shock mounts on. I'm like, it looks even worse. Like, God, I just can't do it. Okay. So that'll be drive gear. Oh, oops, that needs to be a 8mm pin. I grabbed the longer. Let's see. And his customer service is shit. I ordered a fuel cell with mine and it didn't even weld on the mount. Told me to weld it myself. Yeah, that was very similar to the customer service situation that I had with him. He was just like, I got nothing for you. Like, it just is. Like, oh, that doesn't fit. Like, okay. Like, what? What? Like, what do you mean? Like, the drive shaft doesn't come out of this thing. Like, like, okay. Thanks. But they're cheap. Right. Now, do you get what I just dropped? A screw somehow. Not sure how. It's okay. We got it. Anyway, just joined. What are you building? And what's the chassis to your left? That is what we are building tonight. We're building this. This is the Ty Pro Customs. I don't remember what the chassis is called or what he calls it. It is based off of a Jesse Haynes Fab trail chassis. And it comes with a 3D printed hood and interior and all that type of thing, which is a nice way to finish it off. That is a hard part with custom tube chassis, is that oftentimes finishing them takes a lot of skill or tools and like just things that make it a lot more difficult for most people. So to be able to buy one that has all of that done is a benefit, and I can definitely see that. The chassis is a MJ43. Thank you, Dr. President Legend Buck Dandy. He must have not known he was talking to. Regardless, unimpressed. Right, at those, I do need to get my shims out. How much travel do 80mm shocks have? I don't remember the measurement in millimeters at the moment. We're going to build some and not too long. If you're still around at that time, we can probably get some info for you then. All right. Did I grab the right one? I did not. Grabbed the wrong one. Will happen on these big jobs. Okay. And I need to put one of those shims here. There's some thin shims, and they go so that the bearing races of the inside the gear doesn't touch the bearing race inside the bearing plate, just to make everything happier for as long as possible. Okay, so let's double check that that goes there. It does. This will be the front output, so it'll go there. We'll get another shim here. That goes through the front. And we get slide dog. And then we get other gear built. I think this one uses little guys on both sides. Do you have photos of the OG Yeti you built before it became a Yeti? Probably somewhere buried in my old photo bucket account, because that was like forum days. That would be the only place that that exists. Okay, so there's that. Where's all my 1, 2, 3 blocks? Damn it, body. Terrible idea. Stupid. Use an ink bottle. A bottle of ink. That's the best idea you had all night. Oh, you know what else I didn't do? I didn't put the bearing plate retainer on that side. Every kit I have, there hasn't been any Vanquish grease included. Any of the Phoenix kits would have it. Pro and Ultras, they didn't have it. So where's that little? There it is. Gotcha. How long? See if that'll work. Okay, perfect. Yes, that's correct. Just making sure. Carefully. What the? Oh, that's for the sintered gears. Haha, it's okay. Like, what did I screw up? Okay, so we got that. Oh, I need to put the back half of the transmission here. We got our bearing plates. And need to get that. Oh, I got it. Got it. First try without dropping all the bearings into the case. Then we got to slide in our retainer for the dig, which is what holds our bearing plates into place. All right. Okay, that's there, that's there, that's there. Now, before we slide all of this together, just do a quick douche of grease. This way and that way. Close enough. Now, make sure all of this careful. Did I do that right? I did. Oh, damn it. I did that right, but this screw doesn't go in there yet. That screw, the whole thing gets sandwiched together. Perfect. If you have to fight that thing together, you put something in wrong. You put the gears in wrong or something like that. You would not believe how many emails we've had of people that just ram those cases over each other. It should just go together smoothly. There. Oh. Double full shot and is coming. Okay. So that all spins nice and freely. Sounds like someone's stirring mac and cheese. Now, we got OD lever, which goes on this side. Make sure that it's in the proper position. You got the dig lever, which, where's my slide dog at? Position. There we go. Now we gotta line those up together and then drop the brass pin in. Double check that our dig is functioning. Yep. That's locked. Okay, we're good. Now we need to put the covers on. Ooh, I need to grab that 1.5 back out. So I heard something about Jesse is here. Son of a bitch, Jesse. Okay, line those up. Oh, we should probably put the little 2mm screws through the gasket first, just so that we don't have to fight them. Makes it easier. So you have front and rear dig. Sorry, late shit. So no, this one, how it's being built currently, will have rear dig and front selectable overdrive. So I can select either 6.5% overdrive or 43% overdrive. It can be converted to front and rear dig with fixed overdrive if you want. Well, not yet easily, but there's been, it's been worked on, it's been done. We're doing. There we go. Nice. Just go MOA. No, that's not scale. Damn it, Jesse. Does this chassis have a servo winch mount? No, it does not, as far as I'm aware. I wouldn't mind if it did, I guess, but definitely, I mean, I think if I was going to try and do it, what I would do is I would convert this to a VFD stubby, and then I would cram one up behind the servo in front. So steering servo, winch, then VFD twin. That way you can use all the channels on your radio. Okay. Another gasket. Go. All right, we'll just build a 1-to-1 MOA. Use 4-cylinder turbo engines on each axle. That sounds like a terrible idea as well. But there is MOA adapters basically for full size now. They make them specifically, I think, for Land Rovers. And basically, you take your third member out of the axle and it bolts in place. And it's like a 90-degree planetary setup. So you got an electric motor that drives like either a pinion or a planetary that goes down and then goes into your ring and pinion setup. So, I mean, it is basically scale now, but still dumb. No, it could be awesome. And as much as I like MOA, I would just rather have this looking like most buggies, most cool buggies. Everything's spinning nicely. We need to put the cap on top. I don't assume that we can clear the things. What do you call it? The interior bits and bobs. At this point, at least. Talk about scale while you're going back to servo on axle. Well, I don't think that the VRDs are scale either. Those are not scale trucks. Those are comp trucks. And competition, it's all about all about the advantage. All right, that didn't go too bad. How long are we into this thing? 7:25. Okay. What are we doing? Why are we here? What day is it? Okay. Just double checking. We are checking. Oh. You know what would be a half decent idea for a car like this is a motor. Why didn't I think about a motor? I've got ESCs, I've got servos. I just straight up didn't think about a motor. That is dumb. So I've got, that's one of the Silent Assassin ESCs. So if I have Do I want to? If I'm not going to run an outrunner, I shouldn't run that. What is this? Polar Pro 2700 kV. Check your app. My app's a little out of date. I have not updated in like 3 months. Ooh, that's like 1000 kV. That seems low. That's too big of an outrunner to run on a stubby. But 1000 kV is hella slow. I know I've got, this is an 1800 snub nose, but this is for my comp truck. That's a son of a, I just need a 2-in-1. Oh, this is gonna, fuck. Damn. A whole big ass box of electronics. I'm pretty sure I don't have a 2-in-1 in here. What is that? Those are like a bunch of 1080s, no 2-in-1s. God bless it. I have motors to use. I have motors that would work. They're just not what I want. Oh, and now I screwed up this box. I can't fit everything back in. Like Jenga. Ah. I'll check my used box. So, oh, I've got the Spectrum one. Really don't want to run that. No, that's a Holmes. Holmes. I guess I'm having to take it back apart and put a motor in it later. Oh, what a pain in the ass. I'm so peeved. Anyone still use the word peeved? All right, I gotta grab the yeah. Hi, Bubs. What you doing? Say hi. Good plate. What you doing? Just pull it out of another rig. You'll never drive. It's just like this one. Got it. Chief is not a mute. Screw liquor? No, that was Sookie. Chief is $2,700 a Mamba ESC. It's like, but in these, your space is such a premium. I'm just gonna go get a. So if you don't need all that stuff, send it over. Oh, I need those things. It's just not what I need for this one right now. Good boy. No. Can't believe Chief is a wire chewer. I think that might have been Sookie as well. Okay. Is that? Might as well still put the screw in the bottom of the skid plate, even though I guess still got to take it all out. Just go 35 turn brushed. I'll just order it off AIM. You boy. What's the Jeep over your left shoulder? That is my Woods Runner. It's a VS410 build with an origin body and a cage. It's my favorite. Okay. All right, so we got that. The good news is that we're basically at the part now where we get to start putting this stuff in trucks. Truck. I'm going to find something else I need anyway, so I'll be less mad here shortly. What we should, before we get too far into this, let's take the body panel and interior out, the hood off, just so that we don't break and damage and force this stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the screws back in so I don't lose all of them. Also, the brushed Hobby Wing motor looks decent and experienced. Yeah, I've got a bunch of the Hobby Wing. Was it a 555 brush? And it's a solid motor. It's a, you know, I think it's a Sagami can. Sagami, yeah. Solid little motor, really is. Okay, let's take the hood. Have you ever worked with a cat on your lap? Very efficient. I'm such a sucker that I can't kick them off. All right. Hood design's pretty reasonable. We may scan and redo that whole situation going on up there. Just because. Can we see some close-ups of the chassis panels off? Absolutely. As soon as I get all the panels off, the interior, stuff like that, we'll go all the way through it. Pretty sure. These actually go back here. The other option we have is changing up the style. Is the hood aluminum? No, it's 3D printed. SLS 3D print or SLA 3D printed. So I would say that hood looks very brittle. Like I should probably try running it once and then just see if it shatters in 100 pieces. Are you interested in it? Huh? What do you think? SLA? Yes. Stereo lithography. It's the liquid style. Liquid and lasers. 3D scan it first. Yeah, I'll 3D scan it. I'll 3D scan the chassis so we have a model so I have a reference that I can model off of. I'll remodel the chassis in a native format so I have better data. I'll also say these panels are at least twice as thick as they need to be. Yo, no. Come on. Put the Ripper Blem hood on it. It's not even close to it's not even roughly the same size. Chief is a gentleman. He does not show his ass until he's drunk. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Just do it. Am I driving you crazy? Yeah. Like, I don't know why he's like, I swear to God, like people are just like, oh, it's a cage. It must be the same as a Ripper or something like that. I'm like, no. Like, I don't know why. I feel like people should be be able to see finer detail differences in chassis. It's like somebody seeing a Slash and a 8 scale buggy. I mean, like, that's the same thing, right? No. Or a Slash and a monster truck. Look, they both can have a truck body on it. It doesn't make them anything alike. And let's pull this big old rear fuel cell out. Carbon plate the hood. It will make it less brittle. Carbon plate it? Like carbon wrap the printed one? I don't know that I like that idea. I would rather remake a carbon hood of that or a different style if I was going to do that. And I think my decision for all of that will be based on whether or not I like how the truck goes together. This has to come apart, right? Yeah. Ah, there's screws up here to take it apart. So I won't just pull on it. Okay. Put that aside. What screws did I forget to put back on? Because I've got 4 right there. It's not the hood. It's not that side. It's not. Oh, it's the one. What are those 4 screws? What did I pull? Oh, the hood, the roof. Aha. Let's see. A D1 chassis did win 2023 USTE. What is D1? And winning at USTE, what is that? Is that just like, it's not like an actual competition or anything, is it? It's just like show and shine stuff. Jeez, Josh, making this all about you. Okay, let's figure out how these interior panels come off. That will be important to figure out how much more difficult I'm going to make it on myself for not having all the stuff here I need. Okay, 1 screw there, 1 there. Is that it? No. Oh, there we go. 1 there. Oh, another one hiding. Okay. And that can come out the windshield. That's important to know. Excellent information. Okay. So we got that. We got that. I want to put these back where they went so that I don't. Right, we're getting close. Now, I see 4 there. Looks like the center console of this thing comes out separately. It does appear that he assumes you're going to take all of this stuff out because all of these screws are just kind of like 3/4 tight, which is fine. I mean, there's like detail shifters and stuff that it comes with. So there's an obvious assumption there. Take this little dash out. Come on. Shit. Where'd that one fall out of? Let's see. Do you follow the Outrunner idea of lower KV in 4S, or do you try and stay around the 2000 KV on 3S? Kind of depends. I don't mind running a. Oh, that didn't go into this. That did. Okay. What did that screw go into then? Oh, that was just a body panel screw. Dumb. Grab that other one I dropped. Felt like it was longer than that. But figure it out. So now, does this come out? I don't want to just pull. Let's get all these screws out. So all the visible screws are out. They were loose, but out. Well, there's definitely no more screws. I think it's all just kind of locked in there. Let's take out the interior base, or at least loosen it. I bet it all comes free. Probably gonna have to remove that seat before the whole thing will want to come out. Yeah, there it goes. It's free. It's all just built together in there. It's been printed inside the cage. There's just one screw for that seat. No. There's two more. I just don't see how they go on there. I appreciate a tight assembly, but god damn it. Okay. Commence the jiggling. How are the back two screws of that? How is that piece attached? What am I doing here? It's got to be like a screw underneath of this or something that hides the other part or something. Right? Very confused. And then I bet this one for the exhaust is shared. Nope. Oh, it's underneath of the exhaust. There's one. That holds the floor. There's a little scale exhaust pipe underneath there. Pretty cool. Pretty sweet little extra detail. So it wasn't holding this piece, but it allowed the floor to move enough to get it. I'm going to have to take the steering wheel off, aren't I? Nope. Aha, success. Little bastard. I have to take the seat out. Bet I do. Yes, just take the seat off. Diet Dr. Kelp. Great name. Hi, TIG welder you recommended for building a chassis. The one that I use is called the AHP Welders 203XI. And I've had great luck with it. And it's a very reasonable price and it's got a good feature set. And yeah, I have been super, super happy with it. Now, the floor. Will the floor come out? Yes. Nice. All righty then. Now we got the cage. Holy crap. So much for putting all the screws back where they went. We abandoned that idea somewhere around the 19-minute mark. Okay. So what do you want to see again? Here's the chassis up close. So it's based off of a Jesse Haynes fabrication. So this style of front construction is pretty much like the real thing. I never loved seeing the single tube come out to the bumper setup. I'm not sure if that's how Jesse's are. I can't imagine that there's nothing there. You know, as far as like when they add a bumper that they don't add something else. So I've bent a lot of cages with a single shear setup like that, or a single tube. I don't know if you'd really call it single shear, but that everything except that looks well triangulated to good nodes, to good welds. I mean, or good welds. It's titanium and it's welded in a way that is commonly welded in overseas. I know that Typro is a guy out of the US, but I'm pretty positive that this is made overseas. And they use this style of welding. It's like a little like late, like you've probably seen videos of it. So, but yeah, I mean the actual like design side of it, it looks pretty good. If I was gonna get real nitpicky, like this bar here, it feels like that's going to be a rock catcher because see you got nothing in so it's just this thing and like that's you're going to slide along that and just pink like I bet you I hang up on that thing at some point. That's pretty minor in big picture comparison to the other ones that I've had. So yeah, I like it. And I saw someone ask what it weighs, which is a reasonable question. So it's at 0. Let's do it in ounces. Does this do pounds? No, it doesn't. Ounces it is. We can do the math. Any guesses first? Everybody, get your guesses in. Let's see. Let's see what should I give you a reference first? Yeah. So I'm going to grab the frame rails from the VS410, the bag of chassis braces. This is the chassis braces from the VS410 minus the skid plate, which we're using. Plastic bags, right? Big deal. So is there This is the front and rear bumper, the sliders, and the battery tray. So that's like what would be on the chassis, plus or minus, the hardware's in there as well. So that package there, how many ounces in a pound? 16 ounces? Okay. So the this thing weighs 26.2 ounces, which is 1.6375 pounds. So that's how much that weighs. 26 ounces. Now, in ounces, remember there's no body panels or all that. So we were at 26 before. I should just have you guys guess more or less. I teared it out, so it's at 0. Grams, you can guess in grams too, but I'm not doing that conversion for you. 36 ounces, 12 ounces, 1.28 pounds. Okay, 2.5 kilograms. That's heavy. That's 4 point. That's a lot of weight. Nice cage for the price. So we'll give that a 3.17 pounds. 1.28, 3.37 up there, 38 ounces, 3 pounds, 69. 500 grand for that's 1.5 beers. Ooh, 34.67 ounces. That sounds like a familiar number. 36 ounces. The correct answer is 19.7 ounces. So we went from 1.6375 to 1.2. So minus 1.6375. 0.4 pounds lighter. So yeah. Now that doesn't have body panels, the interior stuff like that, but it's pretty light. So again, titanium. But yeah, there you go. Troy, yeah, you guessed when I saw your guess, I was like, that's going to be real close. that one's real close. That's 558 grams. Oh, okay. There were some real close guesses to that too. 500 grams of, yeah, that's super close. So there you go. Make sure your pets are spayed and neutered, folks. All right, so far we spent a bunch of time disassembling the chassis rather than building it. But now we did all that so we could put this in and look around it. But I did make sure to take everything out of the chassis from the other way so that this will not impede any progress in the future. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to get this bolted in here. I am painfully low on button head screws of the length that I would like. And lots of cap head in here. So I'm going to get this bolted in and then get on my high horse about one more thing I'm not. What's going on here? What are we missing? Where are we at? What are you doing? Okay, there we go. That's interesting. Don't you dare go anywhere. Okay. Foreigner barely get to it. Does VP do a CNC gearbox case? No, not for the VFD. We've discussed it before, but we just never really thought it was needed or. Alrighty then. So I'm seeing a couple of things. Good news, bad news situation here. This is a kit. No, but yeah. This comes as a chassis with the body panels and interior and a link set. You then buy a transmission and axles and all that to complete it yourself. But it's not a kit that includes all of those things. So it looks like these mounts up here, see those verticals there? It looks like those were added to give you clearance to run servo on axle. I think that's what his intention is there. And if so, great. So maybe we'll consider that. We'll look at how it all looks. If so, I'll run a stubby. I'll make a new skid plate that makes that all possible. And I gotta wait till stubby kit comes back in. Yeah. So how much does it cost? $850 is what this costs, not including axles and transmission and all of that. So electronics, blah, 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 blah. But this is a super minor thing, not like a big deal. But what is odd to me is the skid plate and like the rails. They don't flow into each other. I would much rather that be some sort of situation where you didn't end up with this kind of weird little divot setup, but that is super minor. But anyway, it's like I wish that was different, but okay, no big deal. So little differences here and there. Like that one's not going to be a good example. So we've got that in there. That's a start. Now we need to build links, get everything suspended with some shocks as well. We start looking at how things move, and then we'll see how far we get. That's probably going to be a pretty good chunk of the effort for tonight. I would maybe consider trying to get the interior back in, or at least the base of it, maybe a couple of parts, to where I could then mock up the servo mounts and things like that. I just have to decide how far I want to take that. I guess we'll see how I feel after I get the suspension under it before I discuss. So let's do that. We have a lot of organizing to do. And center gears we don't need. We don't need this. We don't need that. I'll keep that though. Okay. Links. He has labeled them. Let's see how that looks. This gauge reminds me of the Woods Runners. Phoenix, I know what you're doing, you son of a... God damn you. There's our rod ends. $850, no running gear, all your tools. You couldn't build a for cheaper. Sure. I'm working on one now, but for what I would say that my time would be worth, I think this is a better deal. I think that what I would value, what it costs me to build a cage, is considerably more than that. Like if somebody said, yeah, like, no, I would say. Raw materials, yes. What I would put a value on for my own time to be able to work on something else here or there, no, I don't. I don't think I could. I love to build cages when it is something that is something I want that is unavailable or, not what I feel is the great setup. And time. Yeah. Or 4 years later. Yeah, it's exactly. It's like I can just buy this and it's done and it's here. And I either like it or not. And if I like it, great. Yep. There we go. I'm going to leave that blue tape on for now. I'll say he has nice handwriting. Front upper. Interesting. There's 2 of them and a panhard. So he might be including the links to do servo on axle or panhard. We shall see. Rear uppers, rear lowers, rear uppers for 4-wheel steer, rad, front lower. Okay, that's a well, that's pretty interesting. So he includes he includes 2 sets of rear links needed if you want to do 4-wheel steer, which is super nice. He doesn't include a drag link from the servo to the steering part. Yeah, some give and some take there, but I think that that's a pretty solid direction that he decided to go. I don't mind that at all. I mean, honestly, being able to just get a link set, Woods Runner, if Josh ever finished it. Yeah, but that's one of those trucks that it's like exactly the way I want it. And I just work on it. I work on that thing an hour or 2 here or there. It's all in CAD. Like the whole truck is in CAD. And right now I'll tinker with the rear bed area the most because it's not exactly how I want it right now, but I don't know exactly how I want it. So I just play around there. But again, it's just, there's some of them that I have it's been well made, built. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you mean. So, anybody know a good STL for a Servo tool? They're sold out currently. I don't know of one. I've made my own as well. Like I needed 1 or 2 for the office, so I just printed my own. But it's one of those ones that I don't feel right putting a tool out for. It's one of the simplest things to design. So made well, needing built. Okay. I wonder which one should be V3 so bad. It hacked Josh's computer files for it. If I had the brains to do it. Yeah. I mean, like I said, that one's all in CAD, and that would be one of the easier cages to build. It really is. But I just have never done, I make all my jig files and stuff like that because I'm building it. I don't typically do them with the purpose of just for selling them. So, where are my shock pliers? Interesting. Bet the guys at work came into my house and took them so I would finish ours. You left them at the shop. Let's see. There's a few pairs left at the desk at work. Yeah. Everyone's a joker. He's still designing them. They probably paid Nicole to come in here and hide them from me. But seriously, I wonder what I did with them. Can't take me anywhere. Okay. One thing I didn't ask. I was going to say I don't have the hardware from the chassis kit out, but I guess we're going to take it out. They hide it in the interior? I don't think so, but there's so many pieces on there right now that you can't be sure. Oh, shoot. Hardware's not even in there. The link hardware is in with the links. Got checking out, having to work tomorrow. I get it. Time is 8:15. Oh, we're making decent progress. We could actually have this thing as a roller. Let's see. I've been using gas MIG, and I make the template out of kebab sticks and computer program. Is that a computer program to make a chest? Kebab sticks. I don't think that kebab sticks count as cardboard aided design or put our front. Son of a biscuit. Can't put any of them on with this in the chassis because the tube blocks the freaking link pocket. Do not approve. Bamboo aided design. I'd be interested to know how many. Oh, super chat miss. Sorry. Been staring down. make a tube car in 1/18th or 1/24th. Ooh. I probably wouldn't myself, just because I don't like the 1/24th or 1/18th in that way. Like I like that scale for the competition. So I like a, very different chassis design orientation, very specific type of setup, as light in areas I can as possible, only add weight down low and add as little weight as I need or as I can. I don't run hardly any brass parts at all, but I run my weight hangers in the front. Man, that seems close for lower link. Well, looks good. Hi, Bubs. You're a pain in my butt. But I love this cat. Looking good, though. All right. You go, boy. Are you needing attention? Is 1/24 scale MOA a thing for comps? Not that I've ever seen. And I don't think it's allowed in competition currently. Just got a 3D printer. What material do you recommend for designing replacement parts? So that's I guess it depends on what you mean by replacement parts. Like if you're trying to 3D print a knuckle, that's not what I would suggest, unless you're like a really, unless it's light duty use, like extremely light duty. Then, you could maybe get away with a ABS or a, ASA type thing. But if, like trying to get a replacement part instead of like a molded OEM or an aftermarket metal, like 3D printers are awesome. I freaking love 3D printers, but there's a time and a place for the right uses, in my opinion. Okay. And opinions are useless in most cases. I feel like when I think of like 3D printed replacement parts, I feel like are more reasonable in like dead consumer goods. Like you need a replacement refrigerator handle thing or go. We're going to go in the lower of the two lower available spots because I feel like that'll upper will probably give us our best clearance possibility, but ooh, I have concerns. Uh, 355 watch. Oh, Buck Dandy was here early, but he left it on, I think. So that's good. Giving me those watch time hours. I don't know that that got to the nylock. Don't know that that was long enough. Ooh. Oh, that's why. Okay. We're all right. I was like, why does that not want to go up any further? But I realized I don't have the skid plate in place. It's just rotated down. Okay. So everything's a bit whacked. We can fix that now. Ooh, that thing sounds spicy with a fresh battery. Gotta get used to it again. Okay, that works out. Panhard location's pretty good as well. Not bad. Why is one drill red and one is blue? So the red one has my 2.0 driver in it, which matches my red cap tool 2.0. The blue one has my 2.5 in it, and that matches my blue handle tool, which I have lost. Them in and amongst. What has happened to me? How am I losing everything now? Losing my goddamn mind. But yeah. Engineering nerd. So it just helps me to know. And then I never have to change the bits out of my truck or out of my tools. I can just keep zipping away. It's quite handy. All right, I need that one. Nope, that's too short. Is that it by the steering wheel? Where's the steering wheel? There's the steering wheel. That's the red one. I'm going to put a nut on the back of that. Not 100% sure that we'll leave this chassis mounted. We may swap it, but yeah. But if I do chassis swap it or servo mount swap, whatever you want to call it, it'll have to be with a stubby kit, and we all know that those aren't in stock yet. Even I can't prevent that forest fire. We'll probably start when you tip everything on the bench and made a mess. Yeah, I know. Right. So front axle is in place. And we've got proper travel throughout the range that I was hoping. Surprise, surprise. Bonus. Can you not do servo on axle instead of servo behind? Oh, probably. I probably could. You know, assuming that the chassis is wide enough to clear it, which it probably is. but I guess I would rather have the servo behind the axle, just because, you know, if I'm going to go servo on axle or behind the axle, at least then it would be behind, you know, lowest possible weight, even better performing. I love that. But at this point, I'm just super happy that the suspension moves like it's supposed to. Rear upper, that's four-wheel steer version. We're not doing that yet. We may go to four-wheel steer later. Waving my knife around like piece of shit. Okay, swap this guy back in. Now you don't have to answer my question to my now. I want to build another kit. Yeah, we've all been there. Or not all of us, but many of us, me included. Man, that new battery life. I'm gonna melt the threads right out of that thing if I hitting it with full chooch. These are rear uppers. Remind me that I'm working on the uppers. I've built several Traxxas kits, but not sure what to build. Man, Traxxas doesn't have that. They only have like a couple of kits. I mean, if you're doing this stuff, like if you're interested in trail and scale or comp, if you're interested in comp, the VFD, or sorry, the VRD carbon is the best. It really is. And it's an easy, awesome kit to build. It feels good. It's got cool, good parts. It's hard to beat. But you need to, you know, it doesn't come with wheels and tires or a body. You have to decide on what you want to run there, or electronics, just like most kits. If you want to do scale, I'm building this based off of a VS410 Phoenix. Do you build 24 scale stuff? If so, where do you get supplies? I've got a few 24 scale videos of me building some trucks. I've built one or two. And I mean, it depends what you mean by supplies. Like just regular parts, I get a lot of it from A-Main. If you mean like when I buy my carbon fiber and stuff like that, I buy that usually in bulk. So I'm usually shopping through vendors overseas to try and get sheets of it. So I guess it kind of depends on what you're after, what you mean. But like I said, I got a couple of videos covering it, and I usually try and do my absolute best to go add as much information in the no, that's not gonna work. As much information as possible in the description. Gives you links to all kinds of stuff. So this one, let's just double check that. Yeah, that'll work. You know what's not going to work is putting that in first, unless I can get this screw. Ooh, I can. I can. Don't do that. It's a bad idea. I'm going to do it. Force it in a little angle, and then it'll kind of straighten out. I'm a professional. I get paid to do this. I'm also an idiot. go. Solid. Success. Success is a mindset, you see. Nope. If she was watching, it was $50. So I'm sure that Nicole is no longer watching. If she was, she would have already commented many times on many of the stupid things that I've said. But one of the reasons that love Nicole, many reasons, of course, but Nicole is also, she is truly one of the most frugal people. Like, well, in some ways, she will splurge on herself in small but very reasonable ways on occasion. And she'll be like looking at something like for the house or whatever it happens to be. She'll be like, ooh, I don't know, that's like $60. She's like, I don't know about that. That seems that's ridiculous. That's too much. Like, doesn't even matter if that's a very reasonable, most definitely not. But, and I remember when I bought this, her and I were like sitting on the couch, like watching a show or something like that, which doesn't happen very often. And that should be a lesson to her, because when I do just sit on the couch, I start internet shopping, and then I was just sitting there and we were just watching it, and I'm like, and I was messaging with Type Pro Customs, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. I'll send me the address and I'll send the money. Like, she's just no idea. I bought a chassis on a whim. Remember that part where I said I was an idiot? Because I used a screw that's too short for the intended purpose that I'm after. Got the right one? Seems too long. I'll have one like that. Let's try that one's. That one's probably right. $1,000 on RNC? Sure. $20 on new socks? Yeah, like don't be ridiculous. Which is always, I've been that way as well. Got it. But yeah, the other I was that same way. $20, no. And then this year, she made me like, this is another episode of way too much information that I share on the internet. This year, she was like, it was around Christmas or whatever, and she's like, I'm throwing away all of your boxers. Like, some of these are so worn, and like these are damn near see-through. They serve no purpose. She's like, I know that you've had these since before we started dating. Like, boxers should never be 10 years old. Like, she's like, we're throwing away everything. And then she bought me like a nice brand. What was it? Tommy John's. Like, all the same. Actually, I think she bought two. She bought Duluth and Tommy John's. And then she was just like, and I was like, I like these better. And then she bought me all those. Like, they're not cheap. It's exactly right. Boxers are not cheap, especially nice ones, but they are nice. Like, they're comfortable. I'm like, okay, this was good. This was good. This was a good decision. You're right. Did he get you those bougie ones that hold your stuff nice? Like, kind of, but that's not how they're advertised. Duluth are good. The Duluth were nice, but I liked the Tommy Johns much better. Gotta get that sheath underwear sponsorship. Yeah, I don't think that I'm underwear sponsorship internet big yet. Maybe one day, but not today. Today. I guess you owe it to your balls a bit anyway. It was actually right around that same amount of time where I was about to have a visit to, and it was nice because they had a perfect method to hold an ice pack, which was great. Again, too much personal information with Josh. About put the uppers in the lowers, or the lowers in the uppers, whatever. You would not believe how many times we see that on J Concepts photos. What's his name? Robert. Mr. Pezza. For those of you that saw the Scale News and saw me call out J Concepts for thank you, David Ferris. As I about now, I wouldn't have left it and taken product photos with it, is the difference. I'm doing a live video. This is not how I would ever build something normally, but I'm in awkward positions while live. Were they all orange underwear? No. Oh man, they're all black. Okay. Much success. And oh, that's not right. There it is. Wait, no, those are the shock screws. Shock screw, shock screw, shock screw. Oh, I bet I know. Nope, I didn't. Thinking I used the other screw somewhere. But no, those are the shock one. Oh, there it is. Is that it? I misused a screw somewhere. Oh, look at that. I had the perfect one just floating around. All right. We need to look at drive shafts. Sandals and socks. I do not wear sandals. I will not wear sandals. I will wear Crocs, and those are not sandals. Those are a definition of footwear themselves. I make no apologies for wearing them. Okay, let's see if I have drive shafts. Nope. Crocs are anti-footwear. Crocs with socks. Crocs get put on whenever Crocs need to get put on, and that can be with or without socks, depending on the situation. And that is the versatility that Crocs provide. I too used to be an anti-Croc advocate, but I matured. I learned. I evolved. If you, like me, also maybe have bad ankles, bad feet, like they're very comfortable for those situations. Any of you that make fun of otherwise, you're making fun of my disability. And I take that personally. Not really. Hey dudes are fancy Crocs. Hey dudes are like, they don't even have any cushion. Aren't they just like basically like more, somehow more hipster Chucks? Oh, getting a 4-wheel drive. Damn it. Hey dudes are great. Plenty of cushion. And that's saying a lot of myself. Okay. Interesting. Put those on Crocs 4-wheel. Crocs are nice till they get wet. I don't think I've ever had my Crocs get wet. Hey dudes are definitely look better than Crocs and are hands down more comfortable. Okay. I will procure a set of the dudes. If you say that they are more comfortable, Nicole and I have both laughed though, because we have both used the sentence before. Hey, do you know where my nice Crocs are? Or I've used it and she knew exactly what I meant. I have a pair of Crocs that were sent to me as a joke by Rourke Ponce was his name. And he sent me a set as a joke, and they're like not actual Crocs, but like what, and they were large. He didn't know my size, he guessed. I happen to be a smaller footed person. Keep your jokes to yourself. And yeah, and then later for Christmas, I got a set of actual Crocs. They're pretty awesome. Those are my nice Crocs. All right, now we got axles, drive shafts. We're going to build some shocks, and maybe we'll throw some wheels and tires that I already have on there so that we, because I'm torn on what I'm going to actually run. So, you know, the problem is we got to build shocks, and I don't know where my shock pliers are. No, I'm not going to throw that away because it's got the shifters. Those are always nice to have around. So, he does give you 4 extra links that you need for the tie rod and drag link, even though he doesn't include them, but at least your rod ends all match. It's the little things. Okay. Shocks. Now these are 80 mils. I feel like this truck needs 90s. I wonder if I have a set of 90s built. I feel like I built a set for that truck for nationals. No, it might have been the Jeep. And then I didn't use them. Let's look. I think it'll be this box. Let's see. I do have brass portal knuckle covers. I have a set of gold-plated twin hammers trailing arms. It's one of the last sets we had. We had like 4 sets left. We gold-plated them, and that gold anodized them. Let's see. Might be in the other box. I don't think so, though. Oh, damn it. I know I have them somewhere too. I remember finding them. Or like, and I think I had even built them with nice parts. Or they were like specifically, I remember them. Oh, it's gonna continue to piss me off. I feel like I shouldn't build the shocks just because I know I have them and I know I want 90s and not 80s. He has an inventory app. I remember finding these here more recently, though, and then not doing that specifically. I remember I have a box of things that need to be inventoried. Oh, shit. Did I stay there when I hit it? Good. This new keyboard has a lock button, which is very annoying. I got it for, oh, hey, there's my 2.5. Let's play hide and seek in Josh's shithole of a studio. Super messy studio is what I meant. The audio changed? Or is somebody just messing with me? Seems normal. Audio still in the same spot. Are those shocks mything? All right, we're going back to dig in that other. I'll pass. It's sorry, it was weird for a second. Ah, okay, that's fine. Oh, you were close. Yeah, I was probably. My mic is right here. Okay. Back to box 4. There's one other option. Mini crawler bolt. Can also be in here, but I also have do we do gold tanks or silver 310s with a red accent? Just for now. The silver 310s are newer. They're new. They haven't been ran. But do I only have 3 of them? Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. But no shocks. We're going to go with the 310s because they're new. And everyone guessed, or everyone went 310. Let's see. Okay. We're going to dig in this box once more. And then I'm going to steal him off of something else instead of building shocks, because then we'll be barely after 9 o'clock and have a rolling truck. An element transmission. There's a servo armor. You guys remember those? Yeah. F it. We're taking it off the other truck, and then I don't know. Never do this. Never take parts off stuff like this. But oh well. Okay. Shocks are a little dirty too. Even worse. Let's see. Oh, and the links are on the shock mount on cap axles. So this whole goddamn thing's gonna fall apart. Whatever. I'm still doing it. I'm going to be so pissed off at myself when I eventually get back to that. Any day now. What motor is in that? This has got a HK Hobbies revolver in it. I'm not stealing that. Does not have a 2-in-1 like I want. What transmission does this? Oh, this has a deluxe portal trans. I didn't even remember buying that. Been a while. You coming to Delta on the 23rd? Hey, what's up, Gino? Wait, when is the 23rd? Is that weekend after next? Or wait, no. Let's see. I get that might be a possibility for me. Maybe. I got A-Main's grand opening next weekend up in Chico. What truck are you stealing stuff off? Well, some people will know. And I'm purposefully not really holding it up in the air. Delta needs some 110 scale comps, just saying. That would be a little bit harder to do 110 scale on those rocks. It's a pretty great section for some 124 scale. I'll be there for that one right in the middle of my vacation. It's gonna be in the middle of your vacation. You're still gonna make it? Okay. Are those VXT2s? 1.9 VXT2? Yes, they are 1.9 VXT2s. It's called dedication. Oh, coming home and then have another 5 days off. That is the absolute move. Little vacation after your vacation. I applaud your planning. Okay. Probably just looks like I'm awkwardly playing with myself right now. Okay. We have shocks instead of building them. It's fine. It's not actually 4.75. Totally intended to be 4.75. These don't have the right pivot ball in the bottom because they were on Capra axles. They have a different pivot ball on the top. We're going to call this a mock-up shock. I'm going to cut my losses with my... As soon as I have this shit together, I'm going to find the shocks that I was looking for. I know it. I know that I will. This truck has got a lot of stuff to do to it before it's going to be ready to, you know, rock and roll anyway. So, ooh, that screw is godfully long. That is too short. Yeah. Let's see. That's perfect. Perfect. Good news that I found my right. One down. I do not remember how I had specifically built these shocks, what shock oil or pistons or anything. We need steering links still. It's okay. We're close enough. I still have to get the, I need to send him, remember to send him a message about the missing servo mounting plate. Well, or if I just go BTA, I'm set anyway. Josh was playing with his Dogan. Okay. Oh God. I've got, these might be really old shocks. These have prototype springs on them. Like before we had our regular, like when we were testing shocks and trying to decide our spring rates, our spring samples are not coated and these are raw. So that would be the only time I would have ever had those. So, geez, these have been kicking around for a minute. These are probably early test shock. That's okay. The right height's still pretty good. Just trying to make sure that we're not going to put this thing way up in the air. I want it nice and low. My this would be, I think this is going to be compared closest to my UC Fab Carnivore, which is one of my favorite trucks. And it's at UC Fab right now. How much for what's left of the chopper? Chainsaw knew what I was doing. I think I saw him ask earlier, how long do you sell the chopper? I don't want to talk about it, sir. Point where I had some fire in my eye about how much we were going to get done for nationals, or what was it? Oh, it was Rocky Mountain Regionals. Jeremiah, thank you very much. So I'm about to open up the WPL truck. It's so light. Is there a car in there? Yeah, there's nothing to those WPLs. They are not substantial. It's all body. The electronics are just cheap crap, but that's why they're fun. And they're only like $60. So, you know. Yeah, they're not like a regular hobby grade RC. Don't worry. They're nearly toy grade, but that's why they're still fun. All right. Wheel nuts. We need wheel nuts. Where's my knife? Brandon, have to make a phone call. Remember, don't get shoot. Hey, you've played Knifey Spoony before. We're just dumping all these screws out. All right. Bolt these things up. I haven't put my tie rod on yet. Don't worry about that. I've got to get a hold of reefs and get some servos fingered out. And if I'm going to go servo on axle, I should probably go low pro. $800 LP brass. I don't know if I'll go brass, but 800 LP I think is the move. Did you just say fingered out? I did. I say that a lot. Okay. Oh, on axle or chassis? I think I'll go on, well, behind axle. Low pro behind axle. I mean, it makes sense, but I'm just like, the only reason I wouldn't go brass is just because it would stand out so much. That'd be the only reason on this truck specifically. All right, now ride height's not bad. It looks a little tall, but I also don't have anything in the chassis yet. I think we still need to lay those shocks down one position, don't we? Just a little bit more. Even without anything, I mean, like full extension is tall, but we still need to kick it down one. But that's looking pretty decent. Put the -5 ends on. Yeah, that would definitely be an option. It just sits too tall right now. Which even at full bump, I want it a little bit lower. Well, yeah, I think if I go lay down one, I'll be right at my max travel. So I'm going to just do that now so I don't. Because I think that'll put me right where I want to be. Okay. It's going to be a very slight difference, but back to building the 80 mil shocks. I know that's exactly right, really, but isn't 90 minus 5 minus 5 back to 80? It is, but only 1 5. There's that screw I dropped. I thought I dropped one. Just couldn't feel it there. I was like, why isn't it going down? Because it's hitting my drill. Oh, that's perfect. Right at full bump, it hits the axle. Oh, that's perfect right there. Links are just about dead flat, maybe like 1 degree up, which is how I have my carnivore set up. It runs super low, but I'm still in a sprung suspension rather than a droop. That's perfect. So now the rear. We got a lot more in the rear. Yeah. We'll just drop 1 again and see how that does. So far, though, that makes me pretty optimistic about how this thing will finish up. And that's super. Well, no. Okay. I was going to say, I was like, I should have just put the freaking revolver in it then that I already had, like that I already found, instead of saying I was going to get something different. But I need a stubby kit if I'm going to do that anyway. So I take it all back. We're still back where we should be. There we go. Yep. That's right. So now let's roll our final thoughts. Great. Thank you for that segue, David Ferris. Overall, so far, I'm still pleased with the purchase, I'll say. That front end just being 1 tube hanging out there, I don't love. I'm worried that I will eventually bend that. Do I brace it ahead of time? Maybe. Like that would be the smart move, I think, is just to go ahead and add a tube. Like I could do that. Or even just some 1/8 inch titanium rod. That would probably be a super easy way to ensure that I don't taco that. It's also titanium, so it is much harder to bend. So, well, I don't know. We'll see there. The skid plate thing with it not like being flush even, then, that's super minor. That's not really that big of a deal. Yeah, so far I'm pretty excited. I think that'll work. This is also a backup in case I don't get as far as I want on my project for the We Are Sea Rock competition in Colorado in June. Then this is an easy build that I can get finished for that event, or have finished ahead of time in most. Yeah. The real buggy is like that. It's single shear up there. Like there's nothing else in front of there. No little brace at all, huh? That's very odd to me. Unless it's just sacrificial to him in that way, but some boat sides. That 1 tube is weird. I don't like boat side panels for the most part, though. Yeah, little things. Either way, the fact that it comes with a full interior and all that is a bonus, a serious bonus. I mean, that's a lot of work, and even for me with high aspirations of making my own new hood and things like that, like I don't need to. I can just it is the crumple zone. I mean, that makes sense, I guess, for a real one that you're going to get into. For an RC, I'd rather not bend my chassis. Oh, these little guys. You might as well see. We're not going to put the interior back in right now because I got to, transmission's going to have to come in and out and yada, yada, yada. But we can at least still see how this thing is setting and going to function. Yeah. All the pictures I looked at while you were jabbering. Man, I feel the hood is nice. I feel like for the price, he should have had the parts printed in SLS. Being that it is an overseas chassis, I think that, domestic chassis that are made in a different way, 850. Okay, I see it. This one being made like have those parts printed in SLS, and that's not really that much more expensive over there. It would be much nicer because this hood is not going to last a single run. At least not how I drive a buggy. I will absolutely shatter this thing. Put the rest of these, put the side panel on, the roof on. That's how we're going to look at it. Plenty of room to run another bar. Yeah, I think you're right, Phoenix. Like there is room to run from there right down to the back side there. And then it's still a single tube, but only for, like 3/8 of an inch. I found my Losi Micros today. It's amazing how far my, wow, I remember those things. Yeah. Put the gold tanks on and then you'll be done. Let's wish I had one of my other tube cars here that was done. Like I said, I would definitely compare this most to my Carnivore. Rather than a moon buggy or anything like that. Not a small car, really. This truck is made where? I don't 100% know. I bought it from the company who is in the States, in SoCal, but I think it's made overseas. Just based on the welds and how it's done, like this is very similar to how that's done. Man, you can't tighten these screws down. They're like the panels fit pretty well, but you got to leave stuff pretty loose before it all wants to start. That's the other thing you have to be careful on is stainless steel in titanium. It will absolutely gall and snap a screw in a thread. I'm not going to start using anti-seize on my RC cars, but it's not like a terrible idea, especially in these, tapped panel screws. And just begging to be a pain in your butt. Just get some titanium screws. I do have titanium screws. That, I want to talk about getting expensive. That titanium hardware. Whew. Yeah, I'm shocked no anti-seize. Look like Tin Man in here tonight. I mean, if anything, I could put a little grease on there, it'd be all right. But like, not that stainless hardware isn't prone to galling anyway, but you can definitely tell. Does it in aluminum sometimes too. Yeah, it'll definitely do it in aluminum, especially like weaker aluminum or like gummy aluminum. Natural Loctite. Yeah, this shit's forever Loctite for sure. Like you'll just snap a head right off one of these things. What's going to be fun is packaging the VFD Twin in here, getting everything wired with an ESC and all that stuff and a battery. This is not going to be an easy truck to make a runner. My Carnivore, it runs a flat interior. So you've got all of that room to just cram stuff in. And my Carnivore has a dig, but that's it with a full-size servo and a battery that sits in there. And it's kind of easy, not too bad. But Josh, have you heard when local hobby shops will get the Ascent 18? I'd rather buy local than buy online. RNH said he hasn't seen any order info yet. That's a great question. I have to imagine they'll see him this coming week. What's worse, galling or galvanic corrosion? I would say galling in RC. I don't know that I've had a lot of galvanic corrosion in RC. Especially with as much carbon fiber and shit as we use. Like, carbon fiber is even supposed to get it with certain types of hardware and stuff. And I'm just like, I've never seen, like, I'm in the carbon fiber fabricators groups on Facebook, and those guys, man, they're like, it's like being on a welding page. Everybody just says everybody else is doing everything wrong. I've never posted it. I just there to learn and watch. All right. So let's clean up a bit. We'll put a car on the table here for scale. I'm out of bananas. Tools. Where'd the banana for scale thing come from anyway? Anybody know? Thanks for coming. I finished my prototype 1/10 scale parking lot light. Parking lot light. Those are, luminaire, we call them. Varying heights. Designs. Did you go with like a high pressure sodium or mercury vapor? Did you go LED style, the newer, cooler? Housing styles vary a lot with LEDs, of course. When we would do lighting studies for those, the brightness is measured in foot candles. Fun fact. On roads and intersections, usually shoot for an even 1 foot candle lighting plan. Unless you're talking about an interstate, then you really only light the merge and diverge sections. That rig seems tall. It looks kind of tall right there. That's why I want to get another truck up here for scale reference. The thing is that this is probably scaled accurately, like height, length, width, which scaling accurately in RC always makes cab sections look tall, just because in a real world situation, you're never looking from up above down onto a car. So if someone was designing this per se, and they were using like photos of a real one and they scaled it properly, this is how it will come out almost every time. The VS410 Fordyce is like that. It can look tall in the cab, but like it's scaled properly. And it's just because of that, you're not used to looking at things from those perspectives as often. And that's just how that happens. So really need to put a tie rod on it. It's bugging the shit out of me. But I mean, if you look at that, this is taller by quite a bit. When's Vanquish going to make SCX6 parts? Not going to make them at this point or any point here in the near future. Maybe someday, but not anytime soon. But yeah, I think that gives it a little bit more perspective. Yeah, remember, this is on portals too. This is on straight axles. So that's an interesting way to compare. Wheelbase is longer. We should check the wheelbase. It looks like this thing's like a 12.8 wheelbase or so. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll tell you what, the top of the transmission is a lot lower in this truck, which is super odd. Like it's considerably lower. I must just really have uphill. I don't know why. I have to look. The amount of shit on this desk is redonkulous. You can see here the rear bar of the chassis is higher than this rear bar. Roof height is actually similar. So this slopes downwards a little bit. So high point's going to be back here. This is a 0 edge ruler, so it starts right at 0. We're at 200 and say 216 millimeters. This one's pretty even. It's right at 225, like dead on, all the way across the top. How wide is it? I mean, stock width F10s, basically. So 240, which, you know, it's a little wider than this, but this got narrow tires on it. But just F10 axles. So we know Josh's favorite swear word. What did I say? I don't even know. I still find it funny Moose Jaw forgot to unmask those light buckets. Yep. No, it came out good. I'm excited. I like how things are sitting. I'm looking forward to some of the next steps, making this thing a more complete unit. So glad you guys all hung out. Appreciate it. It's fun times. We had a good crowd. Pretty much the whole evening too. Anybody remember how I got this in and out? I think it was like this. We definitely didn't have the roof on. Yeah. Yeah. Success. Boom. I like it. I mean, I can just keep dropping this stuff in and Mercedes style caster. I run a lot of caster in a lot of my trucks, custom trucks and stuff. So actually, this doesn't really have any more than stock. It's about the same. It's right at that like 18 degree. So, ooh, we have an F1 race in the morning. Yes. Hell yeah. What time do I have to get up? I don't think it's till like 9. I can maybe make it up and get coffee before then. Maybe. I'm just wanting to set this stuff in here. Did we come in through the door? Oh, wow. Look how easy it went in that time. I think we can do it like that. Yeah, he's kind of doing it at the same time, and they just fall together. Not really, but kind of. Sweet. 11:33 here. It is 9:34 here. West Coast. I don't know how this thing's supposed to be an easy access issue, but I'm pretty sure they think your battery's going over there, and I don't see it. Oh, I still got hardware in here too. We're going to stop forcing that. Either way, I'm going to get the steering link on there, play around. I might wrap this. Saudi GP is 11:55 Eastern time. That is noon. So yeah, 9 a.m. here. Looking forward to it. Hopefully, any of you who are in the fantasy league have worse luck than me this week. Because I have Carlos Sainz, and somehow he had an appendicitis. Not too bad. Alrighty, folks. Hope you have a good time. Hope you have a good weekend. Anything else going on? I'm going to shoot video on Sunday, but beyond that, you guys will see me next week. So, as always, appreciate you guys for stopping in on your Friday nights. I'm going to order some dinner. Thanks for all the super chats. That'll buy me some dinner. Later, everybody.